I screwed up, and it is time for me to atone for my sins. Basically, I've got some absolutely freaking disgusting equipment here that needs cleaning. I'm going to show you how I deal with that. How's it going, chasers? I hope you're having a kick-ass week. I'm Jesse, this is Still It, and I have a bunch of absolutely disgusting stuff, which, I made it angry. There's flies coming out of it. Anyway, you're probably asking why I have such disgusting equipment laying around. I wish I could tell you that I did it on purpose to show you how I clean stuff. That's not true. Basically what happened is I got so excited about getting off to America for my trip that I just literally walked out the door and left this stuff here for, it's been pretty much a month now. So it definitely needs cleaning. I'm definitely not looking forward to what I have to do over the next hour or so, but I'm also not worried about the equipment. I can continue to use this like I always did. It's not a big deal. So should we get stuck in? Step number one for me is to dispose of the evidence, basically. Get rid of the chunky stuff. And while I don't actually know what's growing in here, I don't know what's going on, I am going to guess. Let me just tip this out, actually. I'm going to play it safe and assume that there might be stuff growing in here that is not going to be good for our animals or kids or whoever finds it. So I'm putting it in a spot where, no one can get to it. Because we have a Patrick. What's going on, buddy? And if he can find it, you will eat it, won't you? Yeah. Should we talk about who's been breaking into my shed and shitting everywhere? Next up, a good rinse to really help get rid of the chunky stuff, because I kind of don't want to be putting my hands into this stuff later on. I'm a pussy. So, at this point, we've got rid of most of the really nasty stuff. We've got rid of all the stuff that's just kind of sitting in there, all the loose grain, the liquid, the the scum. Now we need to deal with all of the bits that are kind of like slimed on, caked on, dried on, all the bits that aren't going to come off easily. And you could just kind of scrub them down, brush them down, but in my experience, it's going to be really freaking hard to get off. So enter the not so secret weapons in our cleaning arsenal. Number one, heat. It's going to do wonders for you. And number two, chemicals. I guess the gold standard or the industry standard would be PBW, unless you're using, caustic or something like that in a production setting. PBW is wonderful. Don't get me wrong. It does a really, really good job. But I use OxiClean, Nappy Sand, Nappy Cleaner, whatever you want to call it, however you can find it. This stuff is freaking awesome. Just make sure that you get the non-scented versions, because I've made that mistake in the past. It was for a beer. Everything tasted like, I don't know, laundry or something. Anyway, this stuff is awesome. Hot water, some of this, and a bit of time. It's going to do wonders for cleaning your stuff up. So the mash tun's nice and easy because I can just sprinkle about a scoop of this stuff in there. I've lost the scoop. The exact amount I really don't think matters too much, but I can just fill it up with water, turn this on, get it nice and warm, and then let it sit for a couple of hours before scrubbing it down. So, for the fermenter, I have some heated water. And of course, the OxiClean. But I'll be real with you guys, I'm not going to mess around completely filling this up with hot water. I've got another little trick for that. A relatively small, soft bristle broom. And the idea is that every 10-15 minutes, I'll just come on out here, because I'll be out here, working in the shed anyway, and just make sure that the whole surface is wetted down with the OxiClean solution. Does a nice job of getting to the rim as well. And if you want to be all fancy about it, I guess you could do the outside. My old man came over yesterday to help me line a tricky part of the shed, so I haven't finished cleaning this stuff off. What I have done though is every time I walk past, I just give it another scrub, wet it all down, make sure that the chemical is making contact as often as possible with as much as possible. But now it is time to empty this stuff out. I'm going to go find some weeds that I don't know if this stuff will really kills them. It definitely doesn't make them happy though. Find some weeds, tip it all out on the weeds, and get to rinsing it off. This bin I only really use as a dump bucket to get liquid out of the stills and outside so I can transport it. So I'm not too stressed about this being overly clean. I'm just going to give it a rinse and be done with it. But the fermenter I'm going to be a little bit more paranoid about. It's plastic, it's not stainless, it is a porous, material. I'm going to rinse it down and give it a sniff test. See how it smells. Assuming it smells okay, I'm done. I'll douse it in Star San once again, just for a little bit of extra sanity protection. If I still feel like it smells a little bit off, I'll just repeat the process again. A whole lot more hot water, nappy sand, scrub it down, leave it overnight, and then rinse it. Now, if this was beer I was making, honestly, I probably would just never use this fermenter again. If I was going to be making production spirits, I wouldn't be using plastic, I'd be using stainless. If I knew I was going to let a ferment sit in the fermenter for months on end, or I wanted to do closed fermentation, or any of those things where I really wanted to dial in control, I probably wouldn't use this fermenter again. But that doesn't apply to me. I'm not worried about it. The lag time on Saccharomyces is so much faster than anything else. I'm going to ferment it for 4 or 5 days. I'm going to let it sit for a day or two, and then I'm going to distill it. I really don't see a problem here. But I completely understand there's going to be people yelling about this and saying that, you should never use that fermenter again, so on and so forth. I get it. If that's you, that's fine. You do you. I'm going to do me. So I need to say a huge, huge thank you to the Patreons. Thank you so much, Patreons. I apologize. I kind of went dark on you in America. I don't know what happened. I was unable to upload lenses to Patreon. Every time I tried, it failed. And I don't know why. But I'm back now, and you'll start seeing things popping up again. So, unfortunately, there is a little bit of an issue with the mash tun side of things, simply because that strainer is it's porous. There's lots of little holes all the way through it. That's what it does. That's what it's designed to do. Obviously, stuff's going to get stuck in there a little bit more than other places. So I'm just going to do the same thing again. I've given it a scrub down. It's relatively clean. I'm almost happy with it, but I'm not. More hot water, more nappy sand, let it soak for a couple of hours. Oh, I forgot to mention too, guys, that one of those little, like a dustpan brush is really good for this stuff as well. But yeah, let it soak, give it another scrub down, rinse it out, and it'll be good to go. So, for some of you, this is going to be a completely pointless video. You know all of this already. It's pretty simple stuff. For others, you're going to be absolutely terrified, especially if you're coming from a brewing background. But I hope it helps some of you out and gives you guys a way to fix a potential screw up like I've done. Anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, do the YouTubey things. Thumbs up, comment in the comment section, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll catch you next time, guys, because I have a bunch of really cool content coming up between now and New Year's. So I'll see you then.